So I want to stand on the existing protocol to save time. Of course, we have our distinguished president and the members of the association. And also we have here esteemed regulators and industry leaders as well that are here present, including our new inducted members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, I have not forgotten our chief host, Professor Obiola, and your amiable husband, President, and all the other regulators, as I have said. So I'm glad on behalf of the Executive Chairman, Olanipe Kayode, to stand before you this afternoon and represent him, who will have been here physically, but due to other equally national assignments. So he asked me to come and represent him in this conference with a theme before us, that is the Investment Security Act 2025, implementation and the enterprise risk management and compliance in financial market. So this theme is both timely and significant. The Investment and the Security Act 2025 is not merely a legislative update. It is a bold recalibration to the rules that govern our financial markets. It expands the boundaries of regulatory oversight, redefines market integrity in an era of digital and virtual assets, and challenges every stakeholder from the regulator to the risk officers to rise their game in protecting the integrity of our financial system. This conversation could not come at a more critical time. The world, financial markets are evolving all over the world at a pace that tests the resilience of laws, regulations, compliance system. So Nigeria cannot afford to lag behind. And the ISA 2025 signals our determination as a country to keep pace with innovation while safeguarding stability. The chairman quickly explained 5 things, so I will summarize them. Number 1, the reason of ISA 2025 as it matters to EFCC and also to risk professionals. ISA 2025 modernizes our capital market framework in 3 crucial ways. 1, it draws emerging asset classes, including digital and tokenized assets, into the regulatory parameters. 2, it strengthens investor protection through clearer definitions, higher disclosure standards, and sharper enforcement powers for regulators. And 3, it aligns our financial architecture with global norms, ensuring that Nigeria markets can compete for capital and innovation on the world stage without sacrificing transparency. For the EFCC, these reforms are not abstract. They give us a clearer, stronger basis to investigate, prevent, and prosecute market-related financial crimes, from insider trading and market manipulation to cross-border fraud and illicit fund flows. More importantly, they align perfectly with our statutory mandate to work hand in hand with other regulators in building a financial ecosystem that is clean, credible, and resilient. The second thing is enforcement, which I will talk in practice. ISA translated law into real-world results. That's law becomes meaningless. As law enforcement, we know laws are nothing if are not enforced. In recent years, the EFCC work has yielded some of the most impactful results in our history. We have seen unprecedented recoveries of illicit wealth, not just in cash, but in physical and investment assets repurposed for public benefits. Cross-border returns the products of painstaking collaboration with foreign law enforcement, turning stolen wealth held offshore into tangible resources for national development. Conflict domestic prosecution involving large-scale diversion of public funds, procurement fraud, and management of investment pools. These are not small matters. They are, of course, macroeconomic. They have macroeconomic consequences, eroding fiscal space and investor confidence. And also, we targeted action against fraudulent investment schemes and cyber-enabled market abuses. This includes asset seizures in virtual currency space, sending a clearer message that our reach extends into the digital realm. These outcomes are not just statistics. They are reminders that where governance is weak, the losses are real to investors, to taxpayers, and to the credibility of our market. For enterprise risk managers, each of these cases are a cautionary tale. Control are only as strong as the willingness to enforce them. The third point, quickly, we want to draw some practical lessons and compliance from the front lines as we work day to day. Drawing from our enforcement experiences, I want to emphasize 4 actionable lessons for risk professionals under the new ISA framework. Number 1, asset custody and segregation must be uncompromising. Investor fund and asset must be ring-fenced, traceable, and safeguarded through rigorous custody controls. 2, digital assets demand a new level of vigilance. Without robust KYC transactions monitoring and blockchain analytics, virtual platforms become high-speed vehicles for illicit fund movement. Third, transparency is not negotiable in fundraising. Under the ISA 2025, misrepresentation or failure to secure regulatory clearance for public offers is a direct path to enforcement action. Then the last one, regulatory readiness is a business imperative. The ability to quickly produce accurate, auditable records in response to lawful requests is now a core risk management function, not an administrative afterthought. The fourth issue that my executive chairman raised here is the EFCC's partnership approach under the ISA 2025. The EFCC recognizes that enforcement is only one part of the equation. Prevention, collaboration, and the capacity building are equally important, and our approach includes join forces with regulators to identify systemic risk early and respond quickly to suspicious market activities. Our recent collaborative recoveries and prosecutions illustrate the value of this partnership. Second, capacity building engagements with compliance teams and risk managers, particularly in high growth areas like virtual asset, trade-based money laundering indicators, and cross-border asset tracing. Then the third thing is transparent application of recovered asset for public benefits, reinforcing trust in the enforcement process. The EFCC has reiterated a commitment to ensuring that repatriating assets are applied for public goods, including infrastructure projects where appropriate. This transparency strengthens public trust and the support for enforcement actions. The last thing is a call to action for risk professionals. To the AERMP membership and to every compliance and risk chief present today here, the executive chairman's message is direct. The ISA 2025 era compliance must move from margin to the core of corporate strategy. This means embedding compliance into decision-making at every level, investing in technology and talent that can keep pace with evolving threats, proactively engaging with regulators rather than waiting for enforcement to knock. Our presenter said it all. Building internal culture that reward transparency and accountability. In closing, the Investment and Security Act 2025 offers Nigeria an opportunity not just to strengthen our market, but to reset the standard of integrity in how we manage risk, compliance, and investor trust. At the EFCC, we will continue to pursue illicit proceeds where they hide to work alongside regulators in securing the market and to ensure that enforcement is not just punitive, but transformative, turning wrongfully acquired assets into instruments of public good. The brief remark on the Commission's activities cited are not badges of honor. They are lessons, reminders, and warnings. They show that when laws are clear, institutions, corporate, and risk professionals take a proactive stance, the financial market becomes not just profitable but sustainable. Let us together seize this moment to strengthen our system, close the gaps, and build a market where confidence is earned and deserved. Always is better to build than to destroy. It's easier to destroy, but it's difficult to build. Quickly, our presenter made one point, which I cannot overemphasize. Exiting blacklist is difficult, but going into blacklist, getting blacklisted is very easy. Since February 2023, Nigeria entered grey list, either to exit to green list or to go to blacklist. So for 2 years plus now, we know what we have been battling: to exit the grey list back to green list, not to enter blacklist. And until October this year, we will not know our fate. So for over 2 years, we have been struggling to get out of grey list. And we all know the risk associated with going into blacklist as a nation. So always we have to take our compliance serious. We have to take our regulators serious. And we have to make sure we have controls. We have to put safeguards so that we will mitigate or make sure that we avoid any form of risk. Thank you so much for your rapt attention, and I wish you a successful deliberation.